Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today we're going to do the first look on this brand new Roborock Saros 20 robot vacuum cleaner. Now I did buy this with my own money. It wasn't paid for this video. Right now it's retailing for $1,600. Now if you want to find out all the robots that I highly recommend already that have passed my 3-month real world test, like the Mova V50, Mova P10 Pro, Roborock Curve X, check out my website, justadadapproved.com. If you purchase a product off of my website or from this video's description, I am an Amazon affiliate. The product's not going to cost you anymore, but I do earn a small commission. This is home of the honest review. I want to get you the best robot for the best price. Now in this video, we're going to unbox it, which there's hardly anything in the box other than a couple things. Then we're going to set it up for the first time. We're going to do a simple cleaning. I'll show you how to edit the map. And then I'm going to take it to my home and live with it for 3 months. That way I can give you my 3-month real world test. So Roborock has a lot of first generation stuff here. We've got robotic arms, we've got we got automatic chassis lift up and down, completely new dock design, a lot going on here. My spec sheet, I had to make a ton of room. There's just so many specs to cover on this. 36,000 pascals of suction, mop pads do reach, they do remove, they lift, side brush has corner reach. There's adjustable down pressure on the mop pads. I don't know much about it yet, but from 8 to 13. Does onboard water tank, video camera, yes. It's really thin, 3.13 inches thin, but it can do thresholds up to 3.46. We've got hot water, hot air, 212. We got silent soaking, bi-directional cleaning, 2.5 hour fast charging, warm water refill, dust bag drying. So a lot to go over here. This thing is loaded with features. And again, about 3 of these features we've not seen on any robots yet. Now I will do a separate video on advertising versus reality. So in their advertising, they're claiming a bunch of cleaning capabilities with the AI. I'll do that in a separate video. I'll compare it to the Roborock Saros 10R. I'll compare it to some other robot vacuum cleaners, but then I'm gonna go take it to my home and live with it. After I've lived with it, I'll bring it back to my studio. I'll do a cleaning video. We'll show you how to clean all the parts, and then we'll determine if it gets the Just a Dad approved sticker. Okay, let's get started. So here's everything that comes in the box. We've got the robot, 2 mop pads. You've got the power cord. We've got this little tray here. You got to install this tray on the dock. Make sure it snaps into place. It's nice and flush. There was a sticker right here. Up here, we got a clean water tank and a dirty water tank. The dirty water tank, there is a spot for an odor neutralizing cartridge right there. It doesn't come with one, but over here on the clean water tank, there is that little bead box down there. I think that is for hard water deposits. That needs replaced every 3 years. There's a different style of float. There's a filter at the bottom of this. You're gonna fill that up with clean water. This sticker actually is pretty hard to get off, but it says don't remove the robot with it whenever it's washing. I think the water is just pretty hot down there. Let's open this up. There is a status light here to let us know the status of the dock. It does come with a solution tank. You're gonna put the Roborock solution here. And it's got a dust bag. You'll have to replace this dust bag every couple months. And that's it, what's going on there. Comes with a 6-foot power cord. You gotta plug it in here. There's no power switch. It is 3-prong and it consumes 120 volts, 60 hertz. Looks like whenever the most amperage, 12 amps whenever it's washing the mop pads. Okay, docking station is new and different. Charging points, that's where it's gonna fill the robot up with hot water. That's where it sucks the water up into the dirty water tank. Blows hot air on, there's a little filter. That's where the auto empty is. Now we can take this tray out for easy cleaning. And you're gonna see there's a little float. If the water backs up, that float comes up. There's a filter here we can clean. But the nice thing is you take this whole thing to the sink and clean it. The robot can leave the mop pads back at the base station. They've gone to a more flatter design here. The hot water is gonna come down this channel right here. I do like that it's got these little ridges here to help get the dirt off of the mop pad. The robot's gonna spin them on there in hot water. It's got soaking, so apparently it can put water here and soak the mop pads for a little bit, and then again it's going to suck the water up into it, and then it just goes right back front to back, 18.5 inches or 47 centimeters. Left to right, you're looking at 14 3/4 or 38 centimeters. Now height-wise, it's not very tall, but you got to be able to lift stuff out, so 18.5 inches or 47, but you're going to need almost 21, almost 24 inches above it, or 62 centimeters to lift the water tanks out. The robot itself is 14, just say 14 inches or 35 centimeters. The robot is super thin, 8 centimeters or 3.14 inches tall. So this robot does not have spinning LiDAR. They're calling it star sight. They're calling this solid state LiDAR. And they're going to combine it with this sensor and this sensor to give us, they says it has 2 solid state LiDAR. I know on the Saros 20, and the 20R has, no, the 20R has the same type of navigation. Now this one seems to be upgraded a little bit, but it seems it's as if it has LiDAR, the spinning LiDAR on top. 2 physical buttons on the top, power button, home button. Does have an LED light, obstacle avoidance sensor. It does have a camera on the front, all kinds of technology going on the front, which we're going to check out. Side brush does extend into the corner. There's looks like a little different type of sensor, but it is a side sensor. There's those robotic, they call them lifting legs. This thing can lift itself up over thresholds, 3.46. Round back. This is a sensor to help it back up. Charging. Robot's going to refill the robot's internal water tank with warm water. The robot doesn't heat the water, but it can be filled with warm water and then sprayed on top of the mop pads. That warm water doesn't last super long. Again, another sensor, and this is where it auto empties the dust bin. Let's go up top now. Looks like some improved magnets keeping the top on. Dustbin, reset button. Let's take a look at the dustbin. There's what that looks like. Trap door where stuff's going to be sucked out the side here. That's where it lets air in. Everything goes in. You're going to have to clean this filter. It is reusable. So yeah, let's get a close up. These, it can deploy these arms. I don't know exactly how it does it yet. I don't want to break them, but it rotates these arms to lift the robot over thresholds, tall thresholds. Side brush it extends. Wheel that spins free. I think it uses this, it can lift this front wheel up and down because it has adaptive chassis lift. This is Saros, has what they call, it can sense how thick your carpet is, and it can lift the carpet up automatically so that it's riding just on top of the carpet for better vacuuming. Cliff sensors, so it doesn't fall down your stairs. You got to clean those once in a while. And there's the carpet sensor. And we have each one of those robotic arms or feet on each side. I did install the mop pads already. Here's what the mop pads look like. It can detach the mop pads and leave them back at the base station. Looks like it's got 2 water jets. That the internal water tank's going to spray water on top of the mop pads. These are just held on with Velcro. You will have to replace them once in a while. And it can move one of these up against the wall to mop right next to the wall. And it can lift them up and down, I think 10 millimeters when it senses carpet. It does have the dual divide brush roller design. This is really good for pet hair or long hairs. The long hairs, it's not a single piece and they're going to get wrapped around. These are fluted and the long hairs will be directed to the center where it's open and get sucked into the dustbin. So this is a proven design that actually works very well. There's the door. Now when it's mopping only, it can lift this up so this isn't dragging on the, like if it senses a liquid spill, it can lift this up and just mop. Again, there's kind of an overview of it. Cliff sensors, free spinning wheel, carpet sensor, side, this is an anti-tangle side brush. There's those robotic feet, mop pads, and then there is the dual brush roller design. That's good for long hair. Okay, let's just go over the features. Some of these are industry first, like this adaptive dynamic chassis lift. I have never heard of a robot having that, and I think that could be really good. I don't know how well it works yet. Adjustable down pressure, I've seen that a little bit, but not on spinning mop pads. And it can also If it sees an ordinary mopping, it's 8 newtons, or if it sees a stain, it goes to 13. Climbing arms, this is not the first for the industry, but this is the first for Roborock. I think they're just pretty much, they saw how well the MOVA and the Dreamy X50 are doing, so it looks like they're trying to not copy that, but mimic that. Starsight, it's not the first, but they talk about the 2 solid state LiDAR. Cleans behind curtains. This is an industry first. I think it backs up or something. I don't know. They just said it cleans behind curtains. It does come matter ready. This silent soaking, I've seen that on a few other robots, but it's the first for Roborock. Bi-directional cleaning. I think other robots do that, but I do want a robot to spin the mop pad both directions. That gets more dirt off. 2.5 hour fast charging, warm water refill. We've seen this on some Dreamy and MOVA robots. That's really hit or miss. The water cools off so fast that this, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily it's not a big deal to have this. Now, Dreamy really promotes this like crazy, saying, we wash with hot water. Roborock doesn't necessarily promote it a bunch. Dust bag drying, that's kind of a play off of Narwhal. 36,000 pascals of suction. Okay, let's continue setting it up for the first time. I've got the clean water tank filled up with clean water. This does have a solution tank. It only says use the Roborock solution. So we're going to fill this up with concentrated Roborock solution. I'll have a link to all of this on my website, justadadapproved.com. That holds the whole bottle. 16 fluid ounces. I'll experiment whether we can put some Shark vac mop in the clean water tank later on. Now, these are some upgrades you're going to want to get. This is a brush you can find on my website, justadadapproved.com. It's a link to Walmart. You're going to need these things get super dirty. You're going to need some spraying bubbles to kill the odor. But the main thing is, every time you empty this dirty water tank, put a little tablet in there. You can buy one of these. I have it on my website, justadadapproved.com. It's a Roborock odor neutralizing cartridge that you put in there and it stays in there and it eliminates the odor. I've got the dock plugged in. There's a red light on the dock, but that's because we don't have the tanks installed. Okay, now let's install the solution tank. Make sure you slide it in all the way. Oops. All right, slide the robot. Well, we're going to need to scan this QR code. So let's turn it on. Press the button for about 5 seconds. Those lights will start breathing. You're going to scan this code with your phone. It does play a tune. And a couple things moved. I heard a zit. Now the Roborock app is free, but you have to log in with a username and password. You can create one if you don't have an account already. So once you're logged in, you're going to click this little plus button, give it access to your camera, and then you're going to scan that QR code. Now we have to release the Wi-Fi or reset the Wi-Fi. We're going to press these 2 buttons right here at the same time for 3 seconds.
Resetting Wi-Fi.
Okay, click the little box and hit next. Now what's going to happen is these 2 should connect. Now you got to select your Wi-Fi and type in your Wi-Fi password. It only works on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. All right, hit next.
Connecting to Wi-Fi. Stand by.
Now your device, your iPhone or your tablet's going to tell the robot what the Wi-Fi is, the password.
Wi-Fi connected.
Yeah, the robot should go connect to that Wi-Fi, then your tablet should disconnect from the robot and reconnect to your smartphone. I have had to go in and manually connect to the Wi-Fi signal being transmitted, but normally this is all automatic, which it looks like it is here. 49% charge, now we can charge it. Just loading the plug-in, yeah. We're going to agree to that, but let's go charge it. You want to push it back and you want to hear the words charging.
Charging.
Okay, we've got it docked correctly. All right, let's walk through, hit agree. It's going to walk you through some settings. We can change these later, but they are good settings. So prepare your house. Do you have pets? Click yes. Carpet, do you have carpet? It's going to do a carpet boost. Whenever it's on carpet, it increases the suction power to max. I do recommend leaving that on. I'm going to turn mine off because it's at the studio right now. I'm going to have it clean at night. Map saving, I wish this was on by default, but it's not. Turn that on so it'll save your maps. Voice assistant, I have too many to use it. This is the built-in voice assistant. You're not turning it, it is Matter supported. You can use the Amazon and Google devices. That's a different setting, not that one. So we're gonna check for updates first. First, let's click the icon up here. Go down here, firmware updates. Turn auto update on. Okay, so there is an update. 2.50.10 fixes some bugs to optimize. Yeah, they're not telling us much, but I do all updates. I turn the automatic update on and I do an update before I start using it. These usually don't take very long. Okay, that took maybe 5 minutes. The robot said firmware update complete. All right, now let's go back. There's a voice pack update. We'll just do that. Those are super quick. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, so we're gonna do a fast map. We're gonna do mapping first. Open your doors, pick your stuff up, put your furniture where it normally is. And that's just kind of just walking you through.
Mapping starts
And sit
now.
back, this is
During
the
mapping,
funnest
do
part.
not move the robot or the dog.
It's gonna make a
Open
map in
doors
real
to the
time.
areas you need to clean, and remove any obstacles from the floor.
So it's gonna undock and randomly go around your home. It left the mop pads back at the base station. And this is, again, just the coolest part, how it makes a map in real time. It's usually pretty accurate. You can always delete it and start over if something happened, but if you've got thresholds that it's not able to go into, you're gonna have to add those later. Like on Dreamy, you can add it now. You can add thresholds while it's mapping, but not this. That's okay. So it's gonna randomly go around your house. No, it's not cleaning. It's just a really odd pattern, but that's cool. Okay, so it's all done. That took a little longer than some other robots, but let's go take a look at the map now. It should update here and change colors when it divides up the different rooms.
Charging.
And we're gonna go in and I'm gonna show you how to edit the map. Looks like it reattached the mop pads. There it goes. Now take your time setting this up. Let's go to edit the map. Click the little map icon here. You're gonna wanna name your map. Let's click edit room. Now there might've been a pop-up that says, do you wanna do all this? But all right, let's divide a room. Click the divide button. Now click the room you wanna divide. You can pinch and zoom, move this. This has to be a solid line or it won't do the divide. Let's see here, it could be a little tree, there it is. So now hit the divide button and it should go into two different colors. You can merge rooms. I want to divide this one and merge it into one big hallway. And then I do think it's important to name the rooms. It just helps with coordinating everything later. Let's merge this one and this one big hallway. All right, that's looking good. Looking good. We can remove. Let's name now. I do recommend picking these names that they have will help with the automation side of it, but you can also put your custom name here too. Yeah, if you click, it says in some modes, your robot automatically adjusts the cleaning preferences based on the room type. So it's going to clean your kitchen different than your bathroom and different things like that. So take your time here, divide them up, name the rooms appropriately. Now let's go into settings. There's your history. Put it on a schedule. That's the number one thing I tell people to do is add a schedule, have it clean your entire home once a week, have it mop your floors once a week. Maintenance. This is the filter, main brush, little diagram here. That filter you want to make sure and rinse it. It says rinse every 2 weeks, but the countdown clock is for when you were supposed to replace it. Main brush, side brush, mop, cleaning tray, and dust bag is replaced as needed, clean as needed. You don't get a reminder on the dust bag. Okay, we got some really important settings here. And you can change these later, but we're gonna try to give you the most recommended ones that I use. Carpet settings. The robot will only vacuum the carpet without wetting it. Vacuum carpet, that's what you want. Now there's a void, there's cross, there's vacuum and mop carpet. You can do those for some different floor mats and things, but That's generally the first one. Vacuum carpet first. That's actually a really good idea. That way the mop pads aren't wet when it goes to adaptive lift. Okay, when the robot prioritizes vacuuming the carpeted area, it raises the body to improve the cleaning performance on high-profile carpets. That's new. You know, if you've got different levels of carpet, I'm probably going to turn that on. I got to do some more testing with that. Carpet boost, whenever it senses carpet, it goes to max suction. That can be a little annoying, but it does sort of need it to help vacuum better, so just got to weigh that. Deep carpet cleaning, if you wanted to clean the carpet more, turn that on. Avoid cleaning wires and debris along carpet borders. Improved wire detection along carpet borders. Occasionally carpets may be mistaken for obstacles. It's off by default. I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to turn this off. So that is only adaptive lift is only available whenever you do carpet first. I got some testing to do. I recommend having that on. Floor cleaning settings. Cleaning pattern. Smart, clean along floor direction, or mixed pattern. We've got a set in the map, which I didn't do, floor type. Yep, there's some more stuff in the set. I wasn't done with the map. I apologize for that, but let's go through this. Auto detach, reinstall mop pads. In vacuum and vacuum carpet first modes, the robot will detach the mop cloths and dock. So it's going to leave you can turn it off where it detaches the mop pads. Under furniture cleaning, safe or extreme. I recommend leaving it on safe, but if you want to clean farther under your furniture, you can go to extreme. The side brush is going to extend. The mop pad's going to extend. That's a beta. I leave that off for crevices. It's just extending it more. Automatic, when a dirty area is detected during mopping, robot will return to the dock for mop washing and double mop after. I recommend having that on. Deep cleaning for heavy dirt stains. The robot will automatically start deep cleaning when any heavy dirt or stains are detected. You can turn these off later. Pet area deep cleaning. If you tell it where the pet beds are, it'll clean more. Clean areas blocked by people. That's on by default, so the robot makes areas blocked by moving obstacles such as people and pets, automatically cleans them later. So if it went into the living room and there was some kids and some pets, it's going to leave that room. It's going to, and then at the end of the job, it's going to go back and try to clean that and see if they've left. It's kind of a cool thing. Dock settings. Mop wash frequency. Smart wash by room, by time. You know, if you really dive into this and fine tune it, you can have it use less water. Anytime it's using the smart features, it tends to use a little bit more water, but say you don't want the bathroom water to be mixed with the kitchen water or in the living room, you can do by room or by time. I'll leave it on smart wash. Washing mode, you can do. So smart washing means it's going to pick the temperature and all that. If you go to custom, water volume for mop washing, this is new. You can pick different levels, how much water it uses, and what temperature. Again, when you've got it in smart, having the rooms named appropriately, I think it cleans the bathroom. After it comes back from the bathroom, it cleans the water at a different temperature. They don't tell us a whole lot about that. Cleaning solution, standard, high. You know, I would definitely go to high, but if it starts leaving streaks or something, you may go to standard. And you can turn the cleaning solution off. I'm glad that they gave us a setting for that. Normally that's just on or off. Dustbin auto empty frequency. If you have pets, go to high. And I recommend going to high no matter what. It's just, you want that dustbin clean. Empty mode, I do max. Now, smart means it's going to empty it. If it only cleaned for 5 minutes, then it doesn't clean it. I don't know. I like max here. These things aren't super loud nowadays. Drying smart method. Auto drying, I like that you can put this on a schedule. So the fan, while it is quiet, it may bother you. You could have it dry while at night. Or manually means it's only going to dry whenever you start and stop it. Duration. Eco, suitable for dry environments, standard. So they don't tell you a time. Usually that's 2, 3, 4 hours, but it's really dry right now. Dock maintenance, this is where you're going to do a self-cleaning. It says it uses hot water for self-cleaning, and you can drain the onboard water tank. Lots of settings. Reactive obstacle avoidance. Okay, that is on by default. Obstacle photos. So you got to agree. You can leave the photos off, but I like seeing the photos. Less collision mode. This is, you may have to come back and change these later. You kind of have to see how it handles your house. High coverage. Intelligently covers more areas for deeper cleaning. May cause slight bumps. If you find your robot is all scuffed up, this happened on the curve. It was just getting way too scuffed up. I went to less collision. But typically you don't have to do that. Cleans closely along wires to improve coverage. May increase the risk of tangling. That's a new feature. I think I'm gonna turn it on. Well, it's gonna clean close to wires. I typically want it to avoid wires, but we'll leave it off for now. And you can play around with these later, you know. Pets, when a robot recognizes pets, it takes a avoidance. You can do, I love this. Anytime it sees your pet, it just takes a picture and sends it to you. AI, environment recognition, it identifies for, you know, they don't tell us a lot about that. Fill light, you can turn the fill light on or off, or I mean automatic. It's not super bright, but you will know it has a light on. Manage maps, you got multiple map, you can do multiple floors. Voice assistant, again, I got mine off. Continuous conversation, this is new. Once enabled, you only need to wake it once to have an ongoing conversation. I'm not so sure how smart the onboard Rocky is, but the volume. Remote viewing. So you want to activate the remote, hit agree.
Press the power button to complete the activation.
You got to press the power button.
Remote viewing activated.
Now you're going to enter in a pattern. It's not a pattern that was already established. You're establishing what the pattern will be for the future. So whatever you draw here, that's what it's going to take for you to unlock your robot.
Viewing on.
Okay, so it's really clear. And this is very good. I mean, you can just tell it to go to a certain spot on the map. You can do a cruise, you can do search for pets. I mean, it's just incredible what these things can do. So we'll back out of that.
Viewing off.
Connect to Matter, very simple. These things connect super easy. More options. Do not disturb. I turned it off, but you want to make sure that's on. Smart charging. You can do off-peak charging. Button lights are on. Child lock. Offline map. I recommend turning that on so you don't lose your maps. Pin and go. I've never used. You can tell it to go spot clean, I guess. I don't know. Seems like you would just use it in the map with a remote control. I've never used. User manual, product info, you can change the name, time zone. I want to go to square feet. Firmware version, there. Not much to do there. Device sharing, firmware updates we already turned on. So I apologize for this. There was a lot more in the map. So click the map. Edit. I don't do much with the furniture, but let's go to surface. So I know this room right here, floor type. This room right here, and you can pick the direction of the floor tile. So my floor goes like this. So this one, you can go horizontal. It'll be whatever direction it shows in the map. So mine goes like that. Now here's where you can get into trouble. Let this thing clean your home a couple times. It's going to identify where the carpet is. I don't recommend doing much with this carpet setting. Let it clean your house a couple times and then go in. You can add carpet, add around carpet. You know, you got to fine tune it. And then, you know, like that. I don't think it lets you add fringes or anything. Yeah, like that. I don't know. I'm going to take that. That's a thresholds. Carpet. I'm going to remove it because it just causes a lot of things. I've had these robots get more confused with carpet settings. Thresholds. Now this is going to be important because this robot, Roborock has a robot that can do thresholds now. Add a threshold. This is my testing area where I tell it to do a threshold. Oh, and this is new, curtains. Now I do have some curtains. I'll test it out here, add a curtain. For it to clean behind curtains, you have to add the curtain feature, or this curtain icon. So you can do this. We'll do it like that. There's a window there with some curtains. I think you can add up to 10 or something. You can add curtains. Okay. take your time with that. You can always change it later, but take your time with that. No-go zones. I know there's just a few areas where mine does struggle, so let's add a no-go zone. So if it's a red box, it's going to completely stay away from that area. There's a bunch of computer cables right here. Click that. You can do an invisible wall. Now there's not a no mop zone, so a visible wall means it won't go past that line. So all right, there's where you go right to the live view. So now here is the main menu, or the main screen. When you've got it on full, it's going to clean your entire home. We can select how it's going to clean. Let that. It does have this smart AI plan. Now, Roborock's smart AI plan is one of the best. Now, they don't tell us a lot about it. It just figures out your home and cleans it, basically. But I have tested these extensively, and Dreamy and Mova kind of they use a lot more water than they should. Roborock is relatively good, and I do use that. But you can go to General, so you can select. You can say, no, I want to vacuum and mop my entire house. I want it to be on high. I want the water flow for my entire home to be like this. I can do 2 times, and the cleaning pattern. I can do mop only, vacuum only. A good one is vacuum followed by mop. Again, when you do mop only, you have, just 3. You may want to turn that beep down. The beeps are kind of loud, but you can go the water flow 1 all the way to 30. So if it's leaving streaks, you can really more. That takes you back to that setting I showed you. So cleaning pattern, clean along floor direction. I'm going to turn that on now since I've told it where my hardwood floor direction is. That's it. Let's go back. There it is. You can scroll through other ones. If you click your profile, device, the smart controls, that's where you control it with these other devices. And then go back to device. There it is. Sorry. This is the pop-up that I should have gotten whenever it finished, but don't want to do home layout. Oh, I actually like how it has the little imperfections, but you can go to like no imperfections and just make it super simple. I guess I like to see the imperfections, but it's kind of a neat thing, so I'll just leave it there. Okay, so let's say you don't want to do your entire home. You can pinch and zoom your map. Go to rooms. You want to select this room. I can do everything: smart plan, general, custom, all of that. Zone. I can pick multiples. Move this blue area. Tell it how you want to clean. Hit another zone. And I can clean these zones differently. Like this one, I can tell it to vacuums followed by mop. This one can do something different. Routines, they've got some here. I don't do a whole lot with routines. They are kind of interesting. I mainly just do schedules, but you can do after meals, deep cleaning, stuff like that. I'll add deep. I think it adds it to the home screen. Yeah, it adds it to this home screen, which is kind of nice. Now let's go, let's hit the dot, and then whenever you're ready, you just hit the play button. But we're not going to do it yet. Dock. These, I was hoping maybe those would be like green check marks, but I can do an auto empty manually, I can wash it manually, and I can start and stop the drying. This is important when you got multiple floors, because when you take it to another floor, you've got to manually wash them up with the button. It's not going to automatically wash them up. So. Okay, let's do the first clean. Okay, so one more thing. I got to playing around a little bit more. Under dock settings, and this was something new that I told you about. Dock settings, mop washing mode. If you take it out of smart and you go to custom, that's where you get the soaking. So if light, it tells you that it's suitable for clean environments. Balanced, suitable for every day. This is how it washes the mop. The base station washes the mop pads. Deep, but here's the soak. You have to do in here, and I'm going to turn the water all the way up because I do think this helps, but it is going to use more water. Okay, there might be one more setting I missed. There's just a lot of settings here. Go to floor cleaning. Where did I see that at? Okay, yeah, under floor cleaning, scroll to the bottom. Obstacle crossing assistance on carpet. Once enabled, the robot will use the climbing arms to assist with crossing thresholds and similar obstacles on carpet, which may cause damage to the arms. Please proceed with caution. I don't know exactly what that entails. It makes me think it's going to use those robotic arms to lift itself up over an obstacle or something, but it's saying it could break the arms. It's off by default. I don't think you have to have that on for it to work with thresholds, but we'll see. But right now that's off. Maybe if you've got U-shaped, rod-shaped furniture that robots get stuck on, you may have to turn that on for carpet, but we'll play around with that. Lots of settings here. Okay, we're going to go clean the corner test area. We're going to do a room. Let's do that room. I'm not going to use the smart plan. I'm going to do general. Let's do vacuum and mop. Water level, I'm going to turn it up to about 24. 2 passes. And standard cleaning pattern. All right, then let's hit start.
Starting selected room cleaning.
Okay, the robot can detach the mop pads, but if they were detached, it's going to reattach them right now. It's going to fill the robot's internal water tank up with hot water. Now, it says it does hot water mop washing, but that water cools off really quick. The robot does not have an internal water tank. I mean, it doesn't have a heater inside its internal water tank. So again, what you're hearing is it's filling the internal water tank up with hot water. It's going to wash the mop pads. That does 2 things. It gets them clean, but it also gets them nice and wet. Okay, it's all done. It's going to undock and travel to that room. Okay, we're going to see how the Roborock Saros 20 cleans up this big mess. So it did the perimeter of the room first. Now it's going to go back and forth in the nice straight lines. May need to turn the suction up a little bit. There, it's on turbo. It's struggling with those Cheerios just a little bit. I think it thinks that's an obstacle. So there is still some dirt there, but it's going to do 2 passes. In the app, you can see right where it's cleaning. I am going to turn the water flow up just a little bit to 27. It does leave some stuff behind right in the middle. So it looks, I'm not sure if it's going to do the perimeter. It does. I don't think it's doing the perimeter of the room again. Again, I'll be doing a separate video on obstacle avoidance. It definitely needed to vacuum and mop the center of the room. I would have liked to have seen it vacuum the perimeter. The side brush, it slows it down almost to a stop in the corner. I'm not, it's acting different than other. I didn't think that the old way was bad. Like the Roborock curves and stuff, when they clean corners, they do a good job. This one did leave some stuff in the corner. Now I do have the smart AI dirt detection off, because that'll be in the ad versus reality video. Yeah, there's quite a bit of mud on here still. I've got the water flow turned up pretty high. And that's going to do it. Okay, so it does not do the perimeter of the room for the second pass. I had this, I'll do this in the advertising versus reality. I had it out, but I just forgot. Check the temperature. Okay, we're gonna get an auto empty event. I do have it turned all the way up to high. And we're gonna get a mop washing. And I do have it set to soak the mop pads.
Emptying dustbin.
Sounds pretty powerful. Here's the
Starting to wash the mop.
Here's the cleaning pattern. So this might be the soaking. I heard the water pump on. It kind of stopped spinning the mop pads for a little bit. Okay, now it's gotten really quiet. Okay, it's all done. That fan is really quiet. Drying the mop pads. Really quiet. Okay, let's go take a look at the dirty water tank. It's lukewarm. Okay, we're gonna check the curtain cleaning capability. So I said there's a curtain right here, and we're gonna see how well it cleans around curtains. This is a new feature from Roborock. I'm not sure how it's gonna operate, but here it is. You have to add that squiggly line in the map to tell it that there's curtains there. So right now it looks like it's avoiding the curtains, but we'll see if it does a special cleaning. Now in the app, it looks like it sort of went by the curtains.
Cleaning. Return to dock.
I didn't see anything special. It's done. So I was hoping, it made it seem like it was going to back up. I mean, it didn't even clean behind the carpet, or behind the curtains. Yeah, I'm not sure. This was a new feature from Roborock, and maybe I'm missing something. Okay, we're gonna check the brand new Roborock Saros 20. It has stair climbing feet, or threshold climbing feet. This threshold is 2.25 inches tall. The first one is 1.5 inches tall. So let's see how it's gonna do. He did it. 1.5 inches is the first step, and then another 0.75 for a total of 2.75 inches. It says it will do up to 3.46, with the first one 1.77 plus 1.69 for a 3.46. In the app, you do have to add a threshold in the map settings. It's very easy. Just go under map and add a threshold so it knows to lift the arms. Okay, we're gonna catch it coming back. I don't know why it's not deploying its robotic feet.
Positioning. Standby. Position established.
Here we go. Now, before we do the carpet test, we want to go in here, vacuum carpet first. We want this we can only get this adaptive chassis lift if we turn vacuum carpet first on. So originally I had that off. So now let's go vacuum the carpet. So the Roborock Saros 20 can leave its mop pads back at the base station when it's in a vacuum only mode. Hello everyone, this is just a dad. So we're going to test the Roborock Saros 20 cleaning up this big mess. Now it does have adaptive chassis lift for carpet. This carpet's not super thick, but it's supposedly going to adapt it to just the perfect height above the carpet for vacuuming. We got a bunch of long hairs, some Cheerios, some ground coffee. We're going to see exactly how it does. Now I do have it doing 2 passes, and I've got it turned up to its maximum suction. And you can see once in a while it does lift itself up and back down again. Now, I don't think my carpet has bumps in it like it's exaggerating those bumps. So every time it turns, it raises itself up and down. I'm not sure. And again, it's not super loud. It is leaving some hairs, some coffee. It's not doing too bad a job. It's definitely going to need 2 passes. And I don't know if I should have turned that that chassis lift on or not. I would like to see it get a few more of the hairs off of the carpet. It just kind of strings them along, but we'll see if the second pass does it. I'm not sure that wobble is going to do a good job of cleaning. Again, I do have the adaptive chassis lift on. This is a new feature from Roborock. It's supposed to automatically adapt to your carpet. Looks like it's going right into the crisscross pattern. Yep. Interesting note, whenever it's doing a zone, it doesn't do the perimeter of the zone. It just goes right into doing the back and forth. Now there was a bunch of long hairs on here. I just can't put them in a big line or it'll think it's a cable and it'll avoid it. So I took a big glob that I had and I spread it out evenly across here. And it did string some of them around. Like there's some strung right here. So we'll see right here. This is gonna be a good test. Okay, it got most of them. It left one. There was probably 5 or 6 through here. It left, so that's not too bad actually. Again, this is a real torture test. Now, I had my feet on the ground rubbing that carpet, so it stained the carpet there because I was videotaping the threshold and I was laying on the ground and my feet, I didn't realize that they were pushing that, they were causing that coffee to stain the carpet, so I got to get a carpet cleaner out. Here's the cleaning pattern. Again, I've got it on max. We could go to, there's quiet. You know, quiet is still pretty loud. There's max. So is it doing the perimeter now? That's weird. Maybe it does the perimeter after? I don't know. It's like halfway through and it's doing the perimeter. I'd say it's actually vacuuming very good. The first pass wasn't quite what I would have wanted it to be for a premium robot, but the second pass is definitely getting this room clean, so. I don't see the law. I had a bunch of kitty litter right here. Kitty litter's gone. There's a couple hairs here and there. There's one there. Couple here. It's actually a pretty good test. That coffee was really into the fibers. It left some of it. All right, looks like a couple pieces of confetti, some coffee grounds here and there. Got about 90% of the hairs, looks like. That is a real hair torture test. So it probably needs 3 passes. Okay, it's all done. Looks like it raises the chassis when it was traveling on carpet. So I'll get the decibels and we'll make sure that it auto empties everything. Yeah, the Dyson did a really good job vacuuming. I was very surprised.
Emptying dustbin.
$75, that's about standard for being very quiet. All right, let's go in. Let's make sure.
Dustbin removed.
Did a good job of emptying. Good. There's a piece of tape. Huh, I had some tape on the floor, I guess. Okay, no long hair wrap, that's good. No Cheerios. All right, it looks like we're in good shape. Again, the spec sheet, this will be on my website. These are just specs that I think are important and I try to test. So, I need to do, so I'll do that on the add versus reality, adjustable downward pressure. I didn't see that anywhere. Anti-tangle, yeah. Stain, I'll do that, the stain recognition with the front sensor. I'll do that on the add versus reality. Automatic dynamic chassis lift, again, they don't tell us hardly anything about it, so I assume it's working, but it did seem like it was moving pretty flawlessly on the carpet. Silent soaking, I didn't really see that in a bidirectional clean. I couldn't really see that. So there's been a ton of hype on the Saros 20. Okay, I saw it at CES back in January. They had it on a pattern that was just looking flawless. Well, it's not super flawless, but as you can see with the thresholds. Now, that threshold's not necessary. Typically, thresholds are kind of like from one level to another. You do have thresholds where it's like a patio door, which has which can be kind of up and down on both sides. So that is a pretty tough threshold to conquer, but it did conquer it, kind of struggled a little bit. The curtain thing we got to figure out. The add versus reality will definitely be I got to play around with it some more. We're going to see how it does. Take it to my home, do the 3-month real world test. I'll bring it back here, show you how to clean it, and then we'll see if it gets the Just a Dad sticker seal approval. Now, if it's a good robot, it's going to get the sticker, even though the price point is $1,600, because what happens is in a year, that price usually comes in 6 months. That price is usually down. I suspect that robot will be around $1,100-$1,200, probably in the next 6 months, probably by Christmas, maybe. I'm hoping, I don't know. But then it becomes, advanced features. Again, a lot more testing to go. That thing, there was just so much hype around it. So again, if you want to see all the robots that I highly recommend, justadadapproved.com. You can see my scorecards, my videos, how to clean them. If I use generic parts, we can save money on these robots, and you do not have to buy the most expensive robot to get the best robot. So again, justadadapproved.com. Let me know what you thought of this video. I learn the most from viewers like you. You may know more about the technical specs on this Roborock. They do not give us a whole lot of information. So if you know something that I'm missing, let me know in the comments. Email me on my website, justadadapproved.com. I do appreciate it again. I do pull out certain segments of this for shorter videos. This video just ends up being super long, but I think it's important. So again, the final review will be much shorter. It's going to be like, this was good, bad. I love it, buy it. Okay. So again, this is the first look. Sometimes people are excited. I never recommend a robot right out of the box because you just don't know until you go live with it, how it's actually going to do. So again, thanks everybody. justadadapproved.com. If you could, please like, subscribe, and thanks again.